talk about the best forward cards in NHL 24. Now, the game just launched, so there are a lot of options for all of the forward spots, but I want to mention that this is going to be based on personal experience, whether playing against or with these cards. It is also throwing value out the window. This is not the best value cards. These are, if money is no issue, what cards should you chase and what order are they in? More of a guide for players to know which really are the best cards. Let me know what you think. We're going to kick things off with left-handed wingers, and this is from the community. I've heard nothing but great things about Joe Sakic's rookie card. Now, the issue with this, again, we're throwing value out the window, because obviously it would be his upgraded version, but you're going to have to spend coins to upgrade Joe Sakic when you're going to need to trade him in to get headliners and work towards Mario Gretzky and Howe. But for this exercise, let's just take a look at each individual card in a vacuum. Another thing you need to remember about these rankings is that it is very difficult to get synergies activated, but I'm going to show you what they look like with them activated. Again, this is kind of a perfect world scenario. So while his abilities are not that great, his wrist shot has been automatic. And every time I've played a Joe Sakic card, he's been extremely impactful. He's got 88 speed, 91 acceleration, 89 agility. Defensively, he's a bit rough, but hand stats are all above 90. Again, this is more about feel and just love from the community. I've heard nothing but great things about him. Next up among left-handed wingers, we've got another icon, the 87 Jean Beliveau, 6'3", 205. He's always an extremely good card because he usually has pretty good skating. Now, the reason why he's number 3 on my list is because he's got 88 speed, 88 acceleration, 90 agility with synergies activated, and he is 6'3", 205 with 85 body checking. That is a great mix of size, speed, and physicality early on in the game because a lot of players, if they're top end in 2 of those, they're usually not in that third. Now, his shot is a little bit on the mediocre side at 85 across the board. I think something that's getting overlooked a little bit, even by myself included, is that with the changes to gameplay and total controls and how you hit, if you use total controls, then you use B by holding down B and then letting go to actually deliver huge body checks in this game. It is very easy, easier than it's ever been to lay big body checks. But Born Leader, it provides a considerable boost for all skaters on the team after this player scores a goal. However, it also gets a moderate energy boost for big hits and block shots. Now, I don't know about you, but I have had more hits in my few games that I've played of Rivals than I have in probably about 50 in all of the years prior, just because of the changes to hitting. Born Leader is one of the best abilities because of that, because you can essentially just keep your first line out always. Coming in at number 2 is the team building Luc Robitaille, 6'1", 215 with defensive boost and sniper forward, 93 speed, 93 acceleration, 92 agility. His balance is at 85 and his endurance is 82, which is what keeps him out of the number 1 spot. So he does run out of energy quite quickly. And if someone activates full pressure against you, Robitaille is essentially pointless. You'll be out of gas almost immediately. That said, his ability combo is incredible. Gold Close Quarters is still one of the best, as is Unstoppable Force. When you combine that with the fact he's 6'1", 215, he's got a great shot. One of the best cards in the game. Number 1 is pretty easy, and he's probably not relinquishing that role for almost the entire season. 6'1", 193, the 87 X Factor Connor McDavid with shooting boost helps out his shot, which I guess would be his one kind of like mediocre stat. However, he's got 94 speed, 94 acceleration, 92 agility. Hand stats are all in the mid-90s. And then you combine that with gold wheels. Wheels with a card that is the fastest one in the game is one of the best combos that you can have with an ability. Again, for anyone that does not know, what wheels does is that when you carry the puck, your player receives a 3% debuff to speed, to skating with carrying the puck. With wheels, it removes that. So with 94 speed, he gets 94 speed even with the puck. Then they gave him Unstoppable Force, which is wild to me. If you pull Connor McDavid, congrats, you got a card that you can use for the rest of the year. If you haven't pulled him, he's the reason why you keep doing X Factor trade-in sets for the remainder of the year. On to Centerman, and again, there are a lot of options here, but every time I've gone up against Jack Eichel, it has been a mess. He's 6'2", 207. He also is one of only 5 players that have a custom stride in-game, which makes him just feel faster. I don't know why, but it is what it is. 90 speed, 89 acceleration, 89 agility with synergies activated. The caveat here is that you have to have defensive boost for him to be the number 4 center because the face-off rating gets up to 87 overall. Gold Elite Edges at the beginning of the game is one of, if not the best ability, simply because there are not a lot of players in the game that have high agility, and you can absolutely torch someone in the corners going left and right because you keep your speed and your momentum. Jack Eichel's always one of the best cards, more than likely because of that custom skating stride, and usually he's a right-handed winger, but because of that face-off rating, he's my number 4 center. Coming in at number 3 is the team builder Joe Nieuwendyk. Now, I need to mention here, if we're simply talking about just playing center, so taking draws, even the defensive aspect side of things, Joe Nieuwendyk's number 1. However, you've got to include offense and all of that other stuff, which is why he's down at number 3. Two-way forward as well as agile dangler boost. Gold quick draw. Guys, have a player with gold quick draw on your team. I promise you. Go back and watch my face-off video from NHL 23, learn all of the counters. There is a massive advantage to having a player that you know, no matter what the situation, you can win the draw. I wouldn't make every center have it. I don't think that's worth it. But having just one could be the reason why you win or lose a 1-goal game. He's got Schneip, which, again, really doesn't seem to impact the game all that much. But he also has Born Leader, which we just talked about is extremely impactful in NHL 24. 91 speed, 90 acceleration. If he gets agile dangler boost, as well as the two-way forward synergy activated, he gets 91 agility at 6'2", 205. His shots at 90 overall. His defensively is almost perfect. And again, you see there the 95 face-off rating. Like I mentioned, if this was just purely about the defensive and overall position of center, he'd be my number 1. Now, the reason Nieuwendyk is number 3 is because there's no way he can go in front of Wayne Gretzky. At 90 overall, he is one of the best centers in the game. And again, it is going to depend if you can get these synergies activated. He's usually a better left-handed winger simply because he has such great skating and he's a little bit undersized at 6', 185. You want to have bigger players in the center position simply because they can throw everyone off the puck defensively. But at 93 speed, 93 acceleration, he's almost maxed out in agility. His shot, high 90s. Hand stats, all above 95. And then those defensive stats, 97 defensive awareness, 97 stick checking, and 95 on the draws. Combine that with one of the best superstar ability combos in unstoppable force and elite edges, and you've got the number 2 center in the game. And at number 1, again, usually better considered as a winger because he's usually the fastest right-handed winger in the game. However, at 6'4", 230 pounds, Mario Lemieux is, in my opinion, the best center in the game currently. 91 speed, 91 acceleration, so his skating has taken a bit of a hit in comparison to older games, but he's got almost max agility. Shot is all above 90. Hand stats are almost 99. And then again, defensively, 95 defensive awareness, 96 checking, and 94 on the draws. It's the ability combo. Gold close quarters is fantastic on a centerman, as is unstoppable force. And then he's got Born Leader, like we talked about. Not only just scoring, but he can crush everyone because he's 6'4", 230, even with a lower body checking stat. And then for good measure, Total Eclipse. If you're going to run overload and go for point shots, having a centerman with Total Eclipse is kind of fun. He is the number 1 center in my opinion. On to the best right-handed wingers in the game. Hang on, I can explain. If you've been watching my streams, I got Hilary Knight as an option in an X Factor pack, and it turned out she was just the best option. I threw her in the lineup, and her shot is like automatic. When you combine the fact that she's got unstoppable force, and I even threw wheels on her, which I normally don't do for anyone that doesn't have like the top end speed. At 90 speed, 91 acceleration, her shots at 90, hand stats are in the high 80s, low 90s. Something different. Again, personal preference, totally understand the eye rolls. If I had never used Hilary Knight in game, this would be base Nathan McKinnon. But for anyone that gets her in a pack and the other 2 options are just brutal for you, give Hilary Knight a try. Her base card is so cheap that you can get her final tier very easily. I promise you, if I can score with her, anyone can score with her. Coming in at number 3 among right-handed wingers, we've got the 87 Bill Guerin, 6'2", 220. And again, this is kind of dependent on if you can activate his synergies, which again is pretty tough. But again, we're going to do this video as in a vacuum, grading each card. 92 speed, 90 acceleration. His agility is a little low, but his balance is great, and he's big. He's also got gold truculence, which is one of the best abilities in the game. Combine that with Born Leader, and you're never going to have to take your top line off the ice. Close quarters is fantastic as well. You're just not going to knock him off the puck. This is a great all-around option. When it comes to team builders, however, I still think that there's a few more that are a little bit more important, but Bill Guerin is fantastic. Coming in at number 2 is the 87 Teemu Selanne. Every time I have played Teemu Solani's headliner card, it is so hard not to notice him. He's just insanely fast, faster than his 92 speed indicates. He's got 92 acceleration, 86 agility, which is low, but again, you just don't notice that. Combine that with gold wheels, and there's just something different about Teemu Solani's card. He's got a great shot, and even defensively, he's pretty good as well. This is more of a feel, and again, just in-game look, which is why I have him at number 2. If you are making any headliners, he would be the first one I try and make. Obviously, you're not going to upgrade him simply because you're going to trade them in for Mario, Gretzky, and Howe, but still very good card. And then coming in at number 1, finally, Gordie Howe gets a great card in-game. 92 speed, 91 acceleration, 93 agility, gold truculence, silver close quarters, and silver unstoppable force. The only thing that he's missing is either having elite edges or born leader, in my opinion, instead of back at you, but back at you makes sense. Defensively, he's great. Body checking is fantastic. He's big in terms of size. He is the number 1 right-handed winger in the game, and he actually gives Mario and Gretzky a run for their money in terms of like what one you should go after. It's just the skating and lineup flexibility of the other two that I think sets them apart. Now, I will have a defensive and goaltender ranking as well for everyone looking for cards to chase for those positions. I will also release a budget cards to chase after video that will be all cards under 20,000 coins, so that if you are looking for a cheaper impact card to go out and get, I can help you out with that as well. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.